Hello, my pretties. Welcome to VRCGuides, your guide to the Metaverse.
Boo.
Excuse me about that intro. My name is Mono X Mello and welcome to VRCGuides. I hope you're ready for a scare as we take a look at one of the hottest and best horror maps in VRChat. This is the Devouring, a horror-based adventure map designed to give you a scare. On a road trip gone wrong, you find yourself inside of a mysterious mansion. Do you choose to investigate your scary and strange situation? The choice is up to you. Love it or hate it, horror maps are one of the most popular kinds of adventure maps in VRChat, and this map is no different. This is the Devouring, an adventure-based horror map created to give you irrational fears over car trips. The Devouring was created by Lakuza, Cyan Laser, Fiona, and Legends and was uploaded to VRChat on November 14th of 2020. Since then, it has accumulated over 33,000 favorites and nearly 500,000 visits, making it one of the highest rated VRChat horror maps. This world is only available to PC VR and will not be available on the Oculus Quest. Be advised that this world contains scenes with flashing and strobing lights as well as a scare factor. You have been warned. If you have ever been on a long road trip and it hit nighttime, then I'm sure you're aware of the anxiety that can suddenly consume you and cause you to tense up. This map exploits that feeling immediately by starting you off at an abandoned gas station in the middle of the night. By the look of it, probably somewhere in the middle of Pennsylvania. Shortly after joining the world, you will receive an on-screen prompt letting you know that you have incoming messages. The messages are as follows.
How's the road trip? Sorry I didn't come. I take it everyone is together there by now, right? Tell 'em I said hi if they're there. Have fun.
After wandering around for a moment, it's time to get back in the car and move on to look for an open gas station. Starting the car sends you on your way down the narrow roadway. Music plays on the radio for a while right before your reception is cut and you are attacked violently by a shadowy figure. At this point, your car will roll on its side and you will fade into an older looking guest room. After roaming around for a short while, you'll find a desk in the corner of the room with a journal with the following note.
Dear guest, we hope you have fully recovered if you are reading this letter. We found you injured in a car crash nearby, so we carried you here and treated your injuries. Unfortunately, your belongings were all damaged in the crash. We have sent someone to search again in case we missed anything the first time. We are currently preparing for dinner, which we insist you join. The family has been anticipating this dinner for quite some time. It's a special one, so you joined us at the perfect time. We hope you will enjoy it too. We'll come by the guest room you are staying in shortly, so please rest some more until we arrive to escort you to dinner. The manor is quite spacious and easy to get lost in, so for your own safety and the safety of the residents, please do not venture outside the guest room. We look forward to seeing you at dinner. Yours sincerely, R. Dunker and family.
This is also the location where you can find all journal entries that you find that are hidden throughout the map. On the wall closest to the journal, you can find a lever. This lever will sound a bell globally, letting all players in the game know to return to the bedroom. Exiting the room brings you to another smaller room. This is where your adventure begins. After going through the room enough, you'll find a hidden door that leads you to the dining area. At this point, you are now being hunted by a similar shadowy figure that had caused your accident and is known as It in-game. If you were captured by it, you will be returned to your guest room where you will have to backtrack from where you died. Following the dining room to the right will bring you to the second puzzle. After solving said puzzle, you will be rewarded with the blue horse's eye. These are the keys to your freedom, so I don't recommend losing these. Once you pick up the horse's eye, a door will open to your right, leading you down the hallway of what now seems to be a large mansion. As this video is not a guide, I will not be discussing how to solve any of these puzzles. However, keep in mind that this is a puzzle game. Every object you find could have its purpose and is recommended to keep in a safe area that you can remember. A tip to keep in mind are that these two objects are your keys to freedom. Do not lose them and learn your way around this horrifying mansion. Lakuza, thank you so much for coming in and having an interview with me today. Today's a very spooky episode, so super spooked, hoping you're not going to kill me in the middle of the interview.
No, never not that bad. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for.
All right, so let's start off with a simple question. When did you start making worlds? What was the key that made your brain think about making worlds?
Yeah, so I started making worlds right at the start of 2018 in January. I was still sort of new then. So back then, like at the end of 2017, there's like a big Knuckles meme boom, and like VRChat was like popping off everywhere. And I was on a forum that posted like a whole thread about VRChat. That's how I found out about it, and I realized that you can make avatars and stuff. So I was a big Skies of Arcadia fan, so I was like, oh cool, I can actually like import Vice from that game and be the avatar. So for the first month, like in December, like I made avatars, and I kind of made the decision that I would never get into world building because I didn't want to like spend all my time doing that, and it also felt like out of reach. And then over a few weeks world hopping and stuff, it was mostly hangout worlds, and there were like only a couple of worlds that tried to do something with like puzzles and adventure. One was like a very early like Sword Art Online world where it was just like role playing. You had enemies in the field that you could kind of whack, but they wouldn't fight you back, so it was kind of like you just had to pretend.
Right.
And then there was also like an avatar dungeon where you have to like find secret passages to unlock avatars. So those were like the kind of like what we had at the time. I really wanted to kind of like play bigger adventure. Like seeing those worlds, I saw the potential with VRChat worlds basically, and I was kind of like a bit disappointed that there weren't any kind of like proper adventure maps out. So not knowing Unity game engines at all, I kind of set myself the impossible task. Like we're gonna start making worlds and make a big adventure world. At the time, I wanted to make a Jet Set Radio Future world, but I didn't have the resources to do it or the skill. But there were a lot of so Final Fantasy 13 had been like there were a lot of assets available on like DeviantArt and stuff. They were like widely available. So I thought, okay, let's just focus on a Final Fantasy adventure map, like make it kind of feel like an MMO. So yeah, I started doing that. It started from like January 2018, and that whole project took me an entire year of working every day. And it wasn't until 2019 in January that I released that map. And yeah, during that progress, it's kind of where I got a bit more known in the community, and I was giving tours and stuff to different people and streamers and stuff. So it was a good process, a massive learning process. But yeah, I kind of like pushed out like the very first, kind of workable boss battle with like actual weapons and stuff. Yeah, it was just a giant open world with quests and stuff, which hadn't really been seen before in VRChat. So yeah, since then I've just been making adventure worlds and trying like different genres out.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
What made you make a horror map like this? Like, is there anything that was, pushing you to make it? Was it the Spookality contest that VRChat holds?
So yeah, it would have been 2019 Spookality. Basically, me, Silent Laser, Fiona, and Legends. We're all like role creators and we're like really close friends. We kind of just decided to make a Spookality map. We had a month to make it. We were just being like a bit slow, like designing it and coming up with ideas. It was actually meant to be like a comedic world at first, like very simple and like it'd be in a manner kind of thing, but not obviously as big. I was already focusing on my next sort of adventure project, so I didn't want that much involvement. So I was trying to find like the easiest things to do, to just contribute and let the other three do most of the work. So I was like, can I handle planning stages for the world? And yeah, they agreed. So I started taking over planning and started planning things out, and then the world kind of like just blew out of scope completely. I kind of realized that we've got a chance here to make something really big. So I started like coming up with ideas with this giant kind of world, and the others did kind of disagreed with it. They agreed with it. I mean, but we kind of thought it'd be like we realized that we wouldn't reach Spookality deadlines, so we thought, okay, let's delay and release it a month after Spookality. And that kind of continued every month when we realized, okay, this world's massive and we're not going to complete it in time. But yeah, it basically started out from like 4 friends went to make a goofy horror map, and then it blew up into this giant epic horror world. That's out now, but yeah.
You didn't even have plans for it to originally be a horror map. Like, you wanted something to be kind of scary, but you originally had like more comedic ideas for it.
Yeah, so the original idea was going to be it was going to be Halloween themed, but we were going to have Silent Laser basically do almost like ASMR talking in your ears as you're walking around, like narrating what you do. Because he's got a very good close to mic voice, so we were just joking around, like, he can narrate every kind of action you're doing. So it started off at that at first. We had the idea of like, different wings that you go to in the house to get items. But yeah, it's going to be very like goofy overall. It's only when I took over like the planning stage that I kind of wanted to go a more serious direction, because none of us had ever made a horror world before. So this is kind of like our first attempt, and the 4 of us are kind of like well known in the world creator community. So just us saying that we're making a Spookality map kind of set some expectations in the community, and people are like really excited for what we were doing, even though they didn't know that we were doing something like not that serious at the time. So I think some of those expectations kind of bled into the design of like, we have to go all out with this. It quickly sort of started spiraling out of control for the next few weeks, and then we realized that this is going to be a very long project. And then 10 months later, it was done.
Well,
Yeah, a lot
10
of
months, this could have been its full-out own game, but you decided to keep it in VRChat, which, first of all, is awesome. Second of all, like, it just blows my mind how somebody who makes something of this magnitude wouldn't even, like, imagine something like monetization.
That's fair. Like, it's a good avenue to make money and stuff. I've never really been one for like Patreon, so I never do any Patreon stuff. The four of us, we have our like jobs already, so we're just doing this in our free time, and it's just, at least from my side of things, I don't want to involve money, at least yet anyway, because like I've got a full-time job, and if I start pushing like Patreon stuff, I'll feel like this is a job, and I might lose that passion that I've got for making like these big adventure worlds. So like right now, I feel free to make what I want, and I want to keep it that way. In terms of Devouring, and not like making it a standalone game, none of us were really like these big developers or anything. We literally just started with VRChat. At least me, Fiona, and Legends, we were like new to like anything game engine related. And also we wanted to keep it in VRChat is because we weren't really too happy with the direction that horror was going in VRChat. And Devouring was our kind of big chance to kind of show the community like, there's another way to do horror maps. So what I mean by that is like, horror maps are obviously really popular in VRChat. People love them, but they're always very kind of aligned to like the jump scare nature. Like, you just force down a corridor, like, a Google image will like pop up in your face with a really loud sound.
Like a very artificial kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, it works great for streamers because you get good reactions out of them. And people generally like that, or they like taking offense to it, so it's totally fine. I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist, but I kind of would like a balance more. So we really saw Devouring as a way to kind of like show people like, hey, there's another type of horror that you could be made. So we were looking to games like, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Amnesia, the kind of like games that we grew up playing that we really liked, and we really wanted to emulate that. So yeah, Devouring was a big chance to kind of show to the community, that ask for more worlds like this too, so that we can have a bit more variety in what we've got. So that's one of the big reasons as well to make the world. It's just kind of like help inspire more people to make more varied horror.
I think you did exactly just that, because as soon as the Devouring came out, a lot of more like complex maps started coming out. Like a lot of people started using more Udon based maps. A lot of people are still using the second version of the SDK, which doesn't allow for nearly as much freedom when it comes to creativity. A lot of people I noticed started using more Udon related things in VRChat worlds.
Well, interestingly, Devouring is SDK too. It's not Udon.
Wait, the Devouring is SDK too?
Yep. We started developing it in 2019, so Udon hadn't been released yet, because Udon came out either December 2019 or like January 2020. So by the time it came out, it was already too late. We were already deep in development, so we just continued with SDK too. But yeah, it's not an Udon world, which has surprised a lot of people. Like, yeah, they instinctively think that it's Udon, so we take that as a compliment. Yeah, that we achieved that with very basic SDK stuff.
I'm honestly speechless. I don't know what to say. I honestly thought this world was Udon this entire time.
Nah, it was SDK too. Yeah. So it's not an easy SDK2 world to make, because we were lucky because we got Sign Laser. Sign Laser is basically like a wizard when it comes to SDK2. He knows how to do like these crazy workarounds and that. So yeah, it really wouldn't have been like the complex stuff wouldn't have been possible without Sign. Yeah, he did some crazy work with that. It's completely SDK2.
So you have well over 33,000 favorites and almost 500,000 visits. How does that make you feel about the entire world?
It's a great feeling. It always reminds you back to how we were at launch. So we did this big like launch party leading up to the release, where we had people coming in. We were like, I think there's roughly around 300 people that came to the instance over the period of like the hours that it was doing, and we had this big countdown. We even had like people from the VRChat team there in the audience as well as we count down. and then the doors open and the portal and the world went public. So we had this really big opening ceremony for it, and it was like really over the top as well. It was like proper Oscar style. We had these big like suits and dresses and stuff. It was pretty fun. But during that, I was kind of like really nervous and scared about it. And I'm pretty sure the others were the same as well, because we took a lot of risks with this world that aren't normal for a VR chat world. So we didn't know how it was going to be, received when people play it. Like the difficulty of the world is pretty high, and it's not a forgiving world. Like normally in VRChat worlds, if you fail something, you'll usually like respawn almost instantly, like right next to the puzzle. We took a very more like game approach where there's consequences if you fail. So yeah, there was a lot of nerves, and we didn't know how people were gonna react. And because people were so used to the whole jump scare nature of worlds, ours wasn't really jump scare based at all. We kind of avoid that entirely. Yeah, we thought that we thought that there was a chance that this would be like seen as bad from the community, even though we were proud of what we had made. But yeah, like the favorites especially was like, it's based, well, like if you look at the stats now, because you can check the stats of like favorites, it's the highest favorited horror world on VRChat, and it achieved that in under a year. Like it hit that stage like in under a year, which is amazing. It kind of shows that the community wants more worlds like this, so I think like it achieved the goal that we wanted to that way. But yeah, it's a real honor to have so many people come here, and I think this Hall of Fame is a good example of that. The idea for this was that when you complete the world, you send it over, and then I put your image into this world. I'd done this for a previous world as well, like my first world, like Siren World. I did the same, and it took about a year and a half to reach about 150 submissions. So I thought, okay, this will be kind of really simple to do. Like it won't take too much of my time. Within the first 48 hours of this world coming out, I had over 600 submissions.
Wow.
And I realized, oh crap, this is gonna take me so long to keep up with what people are submitting. Literally after the world launch, I spent the next 2 weeks, like all my free time, adding these screenshots of the Hall of Fame, trying to keep up. This Hall of Fame, like it goes on for about 3 rooms ahead, full of pictures, and it almost contains the first week of submissions. I had to close it off because it was taking too long to add people's stuff in, because I had to like manually put it in Photoshop, put everyone's name at the bottom, and then put it in like a sprite sheet, cut it out in Unity, and then place it in. I didn't have like an automated process for it, which I wish I did. But yeah, it got insane. Where it was like I was like burnt out at the end of 2 weeks, so I kind of apologized on Twitter about it. I was like, I've got to close submissions now. But like, yeah, if you go down to the third room later on, you'll see like it loses this kind of like painting format, and it's just like loads of like screenshots just pasted on the wall instead, because there's just so many, and they kept coming for the rest of like 2020. They just kept coming. So like, yeah, if I were to like somehow catch up now, there'd probably be like 20-30 rooms full of like screenshots. Like I've lost count of how many people completed it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and this is despite this is with the world being so long as well. Like 5 to 6 hours, like an average, is like not normal for a VRChat world, and because there's no saving as well. But people are still like committed and willing to get to the end of it, and then just enjoying it at the end. Then there's speed runs as well. Had people doing speed runs. I've got like a whole speed run like a leaderboard area.
I saw that area.
Outside.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was so the reception for this world has been way bigger than we imagined. And not only that, we went on to win 2 awards at an indie film festival in November called Rain Dance. So that was like I've got the awards just on the pillar there. But yeah, that was an honor. But we won an award for most immersive world. So like on VRChat and other social apps. But then we also won the award for best indie game.
Oh,
which was like insane. We were not expecting that, so we won like the highest award of that. We beat out actual standalone games that were nominated, and these were like indie games, so it's not like it's not like half of Alex or something. We weren't competing against these really big ones. It's more like indie ones, but still, like we beat.
That's still amazing.
Like standalone. So that was just that was an amazing feeling. Incredible honor to be recognized like that, and so like interviews and podcasts we had to go on. So yeah, once you released Devouring, we still had so many events to attend and interviews and stuff to do. It's just a crazy year. But we were really burnt out despite everything by the end of it, because it was just so much to process. I literally couldn't use Twitter and Discord because like I was just getting notifications running down. So it was definitely an experience. Yeah.
If there's a message that you can say to, everybody that's come here, played the game, and even potentially finished it, what would it be?
It's just thank you for playing the world. People have asked like if they can donate or stuff, or whatever. But honestly, it's just as long as you play the world, you enjoyed it. Maybe tell a friend about it. That's all we ask. We made this for the community. So yeah, it's always fun when people complete it and they share a screenshot or something. Yeah, it just makes the whole thing worth it. I guess look forward to more worlds that are like adventure based. Yeah.
The Devouring is a horrifying map, created with love and intent to cause fear. A project that went off the rails of a more humorous path to something perfect for the holidays. While this world passed its deadline several times, the final product has been nothing but amazing. Lakuza and their team did an amazing job. Make sure to give them plenty of love over on Twitter. This world's performance is rated 5 out of 5 stars. For such a large map, this world's performance is top-notch. With an average frame rate of 96, this world keeps all VR headsets in mind, making it a very performant world. This world's environment is rated 5 out of 5 stars. For adventure worlds, an environment is key to building an immersive experience as well as an interesting one. The Devouring masters both of these, even good enough to win the VR Indie Game Award in 2020. This world's effort is rated 5 out of 5. When I spoke with Lakuza off screen, he showed so much more excitement for the map, as he mentioned it took him and his team several months to complete. Every asset in the world was created by the team, and not a single asset was downloaded or created by anyone outside of 4Ponies. This took immense effort and made the world even more immersive. Overall, this world receives a 5-star rating from VRCGuides. I'm not a fan of scary anything. Very few games that are horror-based grab my attention, but this one is one exception. The Devouring has a good storyline with amazing gameplay that's all built on the VRChat SDK too. This means not only was it a very large effort to make, but the passion behind it was enormous. I think Lakuza did an excellent job at creating this map, and I cannot wait to check out more of his worlds. Before I end today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to Branding Solutions. This isn't a paid sponsorship or advertisement or anything, I just really like their signs because I personally own one. Branding Solutions specializes in custom RGB signs perfect for anyone. I owned a Branding sign, and I love them so much that they designed this sick sign for VRCGuides. Look at this, like faux neon, RGB, it's amazing. They gave me a code to share with everyone just in case they wanted to get something, so use code VRCGuides for 5% off of your order. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting like and subscribing. If you'd like to request a world to review, leave a comment or join the Discord in the description. Until next time, on to new worlds.